Hey, well, Happy New Year, everybody. It is the 1st of January, 2018. Figured I would give a New Year's update on the Continental here. This looks mostly the same as what it did, my first video, except, well, there's no radiator in there. Radiator is over there. After Christmas, I took a couple days off, and I put a new timing belt in here. It's under here with a new tensioner. There's, might see shiny new water pump down there. The let's see, valve cover gasket is new. Belts are new. This is the idler pulley I kind of had to make. As you can see, it's just got a nut in here. This is a idler pulley off of my 96 S10. Well, it's a spare off my 96 S10. I replaced the clutch down there on the AC compressor. The old one was in really bad shape and it was making all kinds of noise. I thought it was the bearing, but it turns out the front of the compressor is actually ground away where the retaining ring is. So this pulley here, which you can't see it, but this pulley can float. And what happens is it'll float out and it'll actually contact the outer, the clutch surface here. So the clutch on the old one just ground away from being basically half engaged all the time. This one will do it too, but I'm going to replace the compressor. In the short term, I needed something to guide the pulley, the belt here. Basically, this is just being used as an idler. The air conditioner has no charge in it right now. So what I'm waiting on is a couple of gaskets to put the thermostat back in here. And at that point, I can put radiator hoses, radiator, and the fan back in, and we're pretty much done with this. Front brakes have been rebuilt. So new hoses, new calipers, new pads, new outer wheel bearings on both sides in the front, fresh brake fluid. I would like to replace this because it looks kind of crusty, but it's functional for now. Power steering fluid has been changed, so it's actually red. I changed the transmission oil, engine oil. Let's see, I need to do the fuel filter still. I did replace the fuel temperature sender switch, this nice shiny part right here. This block here is a fuel heater, and when this is below, I don't know, I think it's 40 degrees or something, this allows power to go to this, and it warms up the fuel to help the engine run in cold weather. Let's see, what else have I got going on? The back brakes. I inspected everything. It's all fine, so I bled it out with fresh fluid, and I've otherwise left it alone. A pile of spare parts there. It's a set of end links. That's two gaskets that I ordered that I did not actually need. A water pump gasket and the little, I forget what that one is. Lower timing cover, I think, but you don't have to take that off unless you're digging into the engine further than I was. I accidentally ordered the wrong part. So let's see. These are brake hoses. Those are a collection of fuel filters. And I think there's an oil filter in here. Let's see. Fuel filter, fuel filter, fuel filter. Spare. This is the little lift pump that was on there. Spare set of belts. Because this was like $1.75 or something, and this was only a couple of dollars, so why not? Ordering stuff from Rock Auto. This is the pin I made to lock the crankshaft. Let's see, interior. It's more or less back together. It still, looks like it did. I had that door panel off, and I had the speaker out. My buddy Derek from grandmark.net is sending me a care package with a pair of new, well, not new, but working good door speakers to go in here. I have one of the armrests. My boss's daughter is going to be making me a cover for the armrest because the top of it, as you can see here, is not in very good condition. So she's going to make me a cover for it. I've put some neat foot oil on the leather here to try and soften it up. It's still pretty hard, but I guess I could probably do a few more applications. It sucked it right in. There's absolutely no oily film on this. Problem is it's also very cold out here, so it doesn't work so good. It's 19, 20 degrees right now. The noise you hear in the background is my furnace over there. So what else have I got going on here? Dashboard is all together. There's a pair of new dash speakers up there. Radio was graciously donated by my buddy John on grandmark.net. John from Audio Karma helped me do the front brakes. So definitely had some help with this thing. That's actually a part of the front door panel. It's this compartment in here. That part down there is for the armrest. That's you can see is missing. It's the cover for that. So basically, next up, put the new door speakers in both sides, and I have to fix the door panel. Get rid of this. You can see there's some whatever this is, and the two little pieces that go in here are around here somewhere. But this is what the armrest attaches to. It's just a flat piece, and it's got a little screw clip, a little clip nut. I mean, you can see how well that was adhered. So, you know, as you can imagine, I touched it. The nuts, or the screws and the nuts just fell off. And I had honestly not picked at that at all. So that's how well this was prepared. So I think what they did was they just, you know, put some, I don't know, epoxy, fiberglass, I don't know, whatever that is, on there. Obviously they did it here too. But this is kind of holding, so I'm not going to poke at it. My plan here was I was just going to take a piece of plastic, you know, probably to cover the whole length, but maybe I'll just do two pieces, you know, one here, and wipe them with acetone, because this is just ABS plastic. Wipe some acetone on it to soften it, and then clip the other piece on there, and just basically solvent weld the whole mess together. Either that, or I'll pick up some ABS plumbing glue, which is also a solvent weld, and they'll do more or less the same thing, but I have acetone, so we'll give it a shot. If it doesn't work, I'll do something different, you know. So, oh, I also forgot to mention, Derek is sending me a keypad. I poked at this one, and the rubber cap disintegrated. That's what the little number underneath looks like. So, I mean, these you can't even push. They're completely done. And that just fell on the floor. So, I think this system might work. I had a keypad that a couple of the buttons worked on, and I pushed them, and I got some signs of life. So, hopefully the keypad that Derek has is in workable shape, and I'll stick that bad boy in there. Let's see, what else have I got going on? Thermostat gaskets are in the mail. What I just did today, besides the fuel heater back there, new seal right here. And I have the new rubber boot to connect the turbo to the stock air cleaner. I'm going to wash the stock air cleaner up because it's filthy, and I don't have an air filter for it. I didn't realize that I had forgotten to order the air filter, so I have to pick one of those up. Let's see. Windshield washer's fixed. The hose was undone. One of the horns is bad. I've done other odds and ends to this. I've got a laundry list, and at this point I don't remember. In the last video, someone mentioned that the back end looked like it was sitting a little down. Let's take a walk around the other side of the car here. We'll see what that looks like. And I don't know, maybe it is a little bit down. The air suspension does work correctly in this car, but Zach, the fellow I got it from, told me that the link for the rear suspension was disconnected off the sensor. So it's possible that that needs a little bit of adjustment, and it needs to go up just a little bit in the back. But that's it, and I hope to have this guy back together within the next week or so. The gaskets are supposed to be here tomorrow, so maybe after work I will put the thermostat on. I need to rinse out the radiator still. It's in pretty good shape, but there's a little bit of crusty stuff in there. So I'm going to rinse that out. I want to wash up the hoses, which unfortunately I just cannot find replacements for. This one I have a new one for. Something I'm not used to with this car is that I can get parts for it. It's like, this is a BMW engine, and it's mostly BMW. I can get BMW parts. The Ford parts, no. Speaking of the other Ford part, the starter, which is, you can kind of see a shiny thing down there. The starter died on me, so I rebuilt it. It didn't work. Replaced it. or ordered another one, got the rebuild to work, you know, my rebuild job, but I put the new one down there anyway. So we have a nice fresh starter, and you would almost think that's easy to get to, but it's not. The two bolts come in from the bell housing side, so you have about 3 feet of extension to reach them to get the bolts out. It's kind of a pain in the butt. I mean, everything on this car is almost easy to work on. That back there is a real pain in the butt to work on. This up here, once you get the fan out of the way, absolute piece of cake. So, I don't know. All the stuff underneath of that, I don't even want to fool with. I do have a new injector, the lift sensor, which is what this guy here plugs into. It's supposed to be mounted right here. Number four injector has a lift sensor, which is what the trip minder keys off of. I have a new one, but to get the injector, you can see the injector's way down in there. I will fool with that at another time, because I'm just not inclined to mess with it. The only thing that's going to cause is the trip minder to not work, and I don't care about that right this minute. So anyway, a bit of a long rambling video, so I apologize. But thank you for watching. Have a spectacular new year, and when I get this bad boy on the road, I will post another update.